Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect. I'm your host and we are back again with another one. So we're going to be doing the review show or the reaction show now that's what we call it. We're going to be looking at all the games that have been played in the Premier League, looking at where Liverpool are, looking at where exactly other teams are. Remember the civil war taking place in the Premier League champions. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm not gonna do the reaction of United game. That was literally a straightforward game as you can. I'll try to cover it in this reaction video, people, because I just have to. Anyway, let's get into this one. Let's talk about the game. So Aston Villa shocked the world and kept quiet because the silence we've been experiencing a long time, it's proudly sponsored by Aston Villa after they beat Arsenal by 2 goals to 1 in a game which people thought Arsenal were just going to be a walkover. And Unai Emery reminded Arsenal that it was a good evening. Then, of course, Chelsea failed to do anything in a game which they played against Bournemouth. It finished 0-0. Bournemouth were actually showing like the team that were actually going to score goals, but it did not turn out that way. Everton destroyed the Nottingham Forest by winning by 3 goals to 0, which puts them on top of Liverpool, and they look like they're running away with it. Manchester City destroyed Sunderland, who got a red card in the end, but the distraction had already taken place. We saw some amazing goals. Phil Foden and some of the players scored some goals and an amazing assist from Ryan Cherki. Newcastle beat Burnley by 2 goals to 1 in a game which there was an early red card which was given to Burnley, but before then Newcastle were already leading, and then the penalty just put them ahead, and they deserved to win this game. Tottenham Hotspurs were in their first happy terms when one of their signings and the most important one, Javi Simone, came to life with a goal and assist to help them go and actually push very close to the top four. Where we saw Liverpool play against Leeds, Hugo Ekitiko was back in the lineup and scored the important goals to make sure that it was 2-0. Then Konate made a mistake allowing Leeds to score a penalty, and they started believing to make it 2-2. Then Dominic Soboslai scored the third one to try to put some pressure. Then it was finished. But trust me, that was not even the war of the game. The war actually happened outside of the ground with Mo Salah. Then, of course, we saw on Sunday Brighton playing against West Ham in a game which finished 1-1. It could have been a different game, but it ended up 1-1, and the world deserved a draw really in all games. Then Fulham played against Crystal Palace in a game which was a bit interesting, but Crystal Palace showed again their seniority by winning the game deservedly 2-1. Then we saw Wolves destroyed by Manchester United in a game which somehow United won, but everyone who's leaving the pitch feels like United are not the team that they expect them to be, and they're actually bringing questions about Amorim rather than to actually celebrate the victory. Like the video, subscribe to Connected. This was the Premier League. This was the Premier League reaction roundup, and I'll be back again with another one. Let's get into the video. So, like I'm saying, us now we kept quiet because the silence that we have been experiencing on social media, really, it has been proudly sponsored and brought in by, you know what, by Aston Villa. Good evening was in full force, and they played so well. In the 90-minute goal, which was scored in the 95th of the game, and there was nothing to stop. They just have to watch the game shaking, and they just have to watch the ground moving, and it was an amazing experience, really. If you're a Villa fan, that is probably one of your your favorite games of the season, because you showed amazing resistance. You fought to the very end, and you deserved the victory. So for that, I feel like this will be one of those games you talk about. But for us now, on the other hand, there is a problem with us now that people don't want to admit, but it has always been there, and it just got exposed in this game. Of course, let us not run away from the fact of the matter that there were so many injuries. There were so many injuries in this Arsenal defensively. Really, Gabriel and Saliba were not even in the game. But of course, they had players to replace them. They put on Timber was in, as well as a gap here. Then we also had Calafiori. Then we also had Ben White. If you look at all those people's background history, they are all defenders. So they literally had 4 defenders at the back, but lost the game. How did they lose the game, you may wonder? Well, I'm going to explain. First of all, Arsenal are terrible going forward. And this is the problem that I was talking about. Arsenal are terrible going forward. They find themselves always with some problems. I'm going to do a deep dive. In fact, let me not even go deep into this because I'll do a deep dive into it tomorrow. So be ready for that one. I'm really excited over that one. Let's move on to the next one. Of course, it's important. Chelsea failed to do anything significantly in a game which they were playing against Bournemouth. It finished 1-0. Bournemouth actually scored two goals which were disallowed. They hit the post as well. Chelsea were literally just vibe along in there. They did nothing really, just but only to vibe along. And that was the truth of the matter. Everton destroyed Nottingham Forest. And trust me, people, this was a distraction. An early goal was scored, and two goals were also scored, extra goals to create the gap. And it was a well deserved victory. They played like they understood what they were doing. They were a team on a mission, and they deserved all the points, and they've moved above Liverpool in the table. And I'm telling you, the Everton's friend are not going to allow me to rest on that one. Then Manchester City destroyed Sunderland. This is a Sunderland team that has stopped Arsenal, stopped the man Liverpool, and City showed what they're capable of. They destroyed this team. But the destruction became even more sweeter with the fact that Arsenal dropped points. And in them dropping points, City came with that venom of trying to win. They were not leaving that game without a victory. And that's exactly what they did. The fighting spirit, the way they were all over the game, the way they were putting pressure, the way they kept on attacking the whole entire game. It was a team that understood what they were. They literally understood their assignment, and they got the victory at the end of the day, a well-deserved victory. They won by 3 goals to nil. Ranchik with a Rabona assist, one of the best, which will be talked about in some time. Phil Foden scored it, but trust me, it's all because of the assist. The other goals were, of course, scored by Diaz, and the other one was scored by Govadio. It was a defense first man first, or something, should I say, from City defense, who stepped up and showed, which put them within 2 points of Arsenal. If Arsenal drop another game and City wins, this is a different story. If they drew a game, they are leveled on points. Now that is a problem for the Arsenal, because they thought that they would already won the league. They thought that they were already running away with it. And City played the long game. And Pep Guardiola said it, that this is the time where the focus is needed, and they're gonna focus until where they go. And look where situation stands out like now, right now. They look like they're gonna be doing some amazing stuff, the City team. And I'm just curious to see where Arsenal find themselves in this situation. How do they even include themselves now as the events have turned this way? Then, of course, you look at Newcastle versus Burnley, a game which was interesting to watch for any viewer who was just watching, just enjoying the game. I think before halftime or after halftime, there was a red card which was given to Burnley, a deserved red card because he fouled on Ilanga. Then a kick was hit, I think, from outside. It did not go in. Then Gimera scored. Then a penalty was given to Sintu to Newcastle to make it 2-2 because the player touched the ball in the 18 area of Burnley. Then also the same thing happened on the other side where Newcastle player touched the ball, but it was in the last minute. Then a goal was scored. In the last minute until the end of the game, Newcastle had to fight just to remain in the game. And that was really the honest truth. They were fighting just to remain in the game. That's what makes these games really exciting. Tottenham Hotspurs uh, got what we call a well-deserved victory over Brentford in a game which Javi Simon came alive. He ran the show, assisted one of the best goals to Richard Alisson in a good game. Thomas Frank went back, was playing against his former team, and he needed the victory because the pressure was under him. And of course, the goal from Richard Alisson, assisted by Javi Simon, then the Javi Simon goal, which he took from the center, ran and he scored. It was just amazing. And that's how they got the victory, a well deserved one. They've just moved within few points, maybe, or goals away from Chelsea. It's looking exciting at the moment. Then, lastly, Leeds United versus Liverpool, the game that I predicted for the first time, that I don't like to predict my team losing, but I'm seeing them getting an upset, and exactly an upset is what we got. But the surprisingly part, I came into that game saying that I'm not gonna get hurt. Whatever that happens, it happens. I'm not getting hurt over this fixture. I'm not going to put so much into this. I'm literally just gonna be there. And yet again, I left that game with so much anger, with so much venom that I'm complaining why did the game even went the way it did. That's the thing with Liverpool. Hugo Ekitike was brought back into the team, scored 2 goals, amazing goals, good pressuring points, and those were amazing goals. And yet, at the end of the day, we drew the game. It feels like a loss. I have been calling it a loss for some time now, but we drew the game. 2 goals from Ekitike from second half. First half it was okay, but nothing was produced. But 2 goals from Ekitike from second half. Then of course Konate decided to play Superman or Batman. I don't know whatever he was playing, but he fought. A penalty was given to Sunderland and to Leeds United. After the penalty was given to Leeds, they scored, and they scored an early goal where the defense of Liverpool just looked like it was not even there. I'm hearing rumors that Liverpool are looking for a replacement of Konate, and I think it's bad about time. Maybe even a Virgil van Dijk replacement. Maybe it could be Gay, I don't know. But some things has to start happening. Then from then, Dominic Soboslai scores an amazing goal, a good pass. I don't know if it came from, is it Andy Robertson or something? When it was coming, McAllister, the movement confused the team, the defense of Leeds, which allowed the Dominic Soboslai to have a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, scoring it to make it 3-2. I'm like, we've won the game. Somehow, was it, is it Minami or Takamino or whatever, how do you call him? The player who scored in the final minute from a set piece. It is just painful to think about, really, to be honest. But the other thing I can actually say about this game, which I think so many people have not talked about the most, is the goalkeeper of Leeds was on fire. He was on point. He saved that team because Liverpool were trying, but they were just not converting their chances, but they were really trying so much. It was a good game, to be honest. Then, of course, Brentford played against West Ham in a game which Brentford were expected to get something, but yet it ended up in the hands of the Hammers. Is it? Because Hammers scored, then Brentford came back. Brentford almost scored to make it 2, but the Hammers remained in the game. They won the game. I did not do a reaction of this one because I just felt like it was straightforward. Or did you really need to see my face talking about this? Because I felt like it was not even necessary. Then, of course, Fulham played against Crystal Palace in a game which finished 2-1 to Crystal Palace. And of course, people have been talking about how Gay has been so influential for this team. He scored the last minute goal to make it 2, and Ketia scored the first goal. Wilson scored to make it 30 to make it 2-1, and Gay scored the final goal to win the game for the team. It just makes it interesting because he is almost close to 9 goal and assist in the games. He has really been very, very good, really, to be honest. People have been talking about him. He has been on fire, on point. Wharton again with a masterclass and one of the best performances we've seen. Well deserved what they did. Then, of course, United played against Wolves in a game which I could say that if you're a United fan, you're happy with the point and you want to move on as quickly as possible. Because this game could have been over, really, to be honest. They looked like they were on point. They looked like they were running away with this. They looked like they were actually understanding what they were doing. Yet, at the end of the day, I'm asking more questions than answers because if the Wolves are the worst team in the Premier League, if you just chill down and play your game proper, move the games okay, make it easy. It could have been an easy win. Yet things did not go according to plan. They made so many mistakes. They were panicking at some point, and at some point they were almost punished because they allowed this Wolves team to actually start to believe and started playing football. But at the end of the day, second half, Buemo scored an early goal to make it 2-1 from the 1-1 lead which he had finished. The first goal was scored by Bruno, by the way. Then another goal was scored by Wolves to make it 1-1. Then Buemo scored. Mason Mount scored. Then the last one was scored by Bruno Fernandes as a penalty to win the game. I don't know what are your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Of course, the Mo Salah situation will still dominate the social media, and we'll see what happens. But like that video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know where you're watching us from. We're out. Peace. Subscribe to the channel.